The New York Jets selected Sam Darnold with the third pick in this year's draft. Find out why I think he has to start from day one next. At just 20 years old, many feel like Sam Darnold isn't quite ready for the NFL. To that, I say wrong. Before we get into that, let me get started by saying that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. And of course, my name is Matt O'Leary. I am the guy who puts out the video content, podcast, blogs, the whole 9 yards. I know I've been away for a little bit, but I've been a little bit busy with work. And today we're going to get back into the swing of things and talk some New York Jets football because that's what we love to do here as we talk New York sports all the time. Today's topic is going to be Sam Darnold, and I really think that he should be starting from day one. I think you're wasting everybody's time if he's not playing 16 games. This is how it should really get the rundown. It would be completely different for him to sit a year if he was behind a guy like Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, Tom Brady even, because they've all those guys I just listed, they've won at this NFL level. The thing that I don't get is why you specifically want Sam Darnold to sit behind a journeyman in Josh McCown. And don't get me wrong, I think he overachieved in 2017, had a very good year, but he played a career high of 13 games. The guy doesn't stay healthy, and with all due respect, he's very old. He's very old. He's in his late 30s and is probably not going to be on the team next year. He is going to most likely be a coach sooner than he is going to start a full season. So why not get this process going right away and as quick as possible? It should be a legit open competition from day one between Josh McCown and Sam Darnold. And if it is a legitimate open competition, I think Sam Darnold walks away with this thing easily. He's the most talented quarterback in that room. It's really between Hackenberg's the only one who was drafted by the Jets still on the roster. He probably won't be on for very much longer. Teddy Bridgewater, who there's some concerns whether he's healthy or not. And then you have, of course, Josh McCown, who we know what he is at this point in his career, and Sam Darnold, who he is the future. Now, I know some people are going to say that Teddy, if he's healthy, should be the one starting, but hear me out for a second. If Teddy Bridgewater's healthy, this is what I'm doing. I am flipping him for a mid-round pick. Why? Because you had to move a second-round pick to move up and get Darnold, which was absolutely the right choice, by the way, for the New York Jets to do. But you still have to replenish because you are still in a rebuilding phase, and flipping a guy like Bridgewater who doesn't have a future with your organization makes a ton of sense. Josh McCown's a perfect backup quarterback kind of guy. So might as well just get this process going, like I said, with Sam Darnold from day one. The Jets don't make the AFC Championship game in 2010 if Mark Sanchez doesn't start right away in 2009. He really developed from year one to year two, and he even developed a little bit into year three before his roster was completely depleted, and then we know he got hurt, and everything went down the drain from there. Deshaun Watson, same thing with him. Many thought that he would have to sit a year. He sat for half a game and then came on the field and lit things up. That was awesome. Yes, I think Darnold is an extremely talented player, and there might be some turnovers. But if you look at just comparing both him and McCown, the upside for Darnold is ridiculous compared to McCown's. Like I sound like a broken record here, but we know what Josh McCown is at this point. We want to find out what Sam Darnold is, and that's why you got to play him from day one. I know people are going to say if you rush him, it's not going to be good. I don't necessarily buy that sitting a year makes you better. I think that the only way to really learn the game is to play. And yes, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but he is way too talented to not be able to play competitively. It's one thing if the Jets go 6-10 with Sam Darnold at quarterback and you see signs of growth, you could still count that as a positive season. But if you have Josh McCown play 11, 12 games this year and they go 6-10 and you only see Darnold for the last 4 games or so, it's a wasted year. Because then you're going into 2019, there's still some question marks about Sam Darnold, when realistically 2019 should be the year that you are really starting to go for it. Here's why. The Jets have a more younger team in a lot of aspects, and if you start Darnold, who is just 20 years old, by the way, that's insane. If you start him from day one and he starts learning right away in 2018, you're setting yourself up better for 2019 as well. Look at Carson Wentz. He struggled a little bit at times in 2016. He showed some flashes of greatness in his rookie year, and I think that's what Darnold could do, and then really take that step into year two. And guess what? The Jets have $100 million in cap space again next offseason. So then you have another big good off season of additions and really improve on the offensive line. Maybe bring in another wide receiver, replenish at running back. Whatever you want to do, you can, and you build around the young guy in Sam Darnold. And it makes so much more sense to get him that experience in year one so that in 2019, from the get go, you know what you're getting out of him. He already has a year of experience. It's not another wasted year, and 2019 would be looked at as a developmental year because it'll be his first full year starting. I think it makes so much more sense to get his first year starting right from the get go. And that's really it. And I think if he does play 16 games, I think you could see a projected stat line of 3,500 yards, something like 22 touchdowns, 14 picks. You're going to see him turn over the ball, and that's completely okay. There are going to be mistakes, but he is the more talented quarterback on this roster. It's not even a question at this point. And if you pick somebody at 3, it doesn't make sense to just sit him and wait. It's one thing for Christian Hackenberg to sit around for 2 years and wait because he can't play at this level. Sam Darnold will come into camp. He will light things up because he is the most talented guy on this roster. It's obvious. He played well at USC with a piss poor offensive line and little receiving talent. I think that the Jets wide receiving core is really underrated. You have Curse, Enunwa, Anderson, Pryor. As a whole unit, they're productive. They don't have one star, but people forget how young Anderson and Enunwa are. That's a receiving core you can build around. That's some nice pieces. And maybe Hanson and Stewart take a step forward in year 2. I think that Darnold makes those guys better. McCown doesn't. He gets better because of guys like Enunwa and Anderson. That's just my 2 cents. I really don't think it makes sense to sit your rookie quarterback, especially if you don't have a clear-cut option. Made no sense for Deshaun Watson to sit, and then once he came in, look how he tore it up. Same thing with Carson Wentz last year, or Dak Prescott once Tony Romo went down. I don't know. If you agree with me, leave a comment. Even if you disagree with me, leave a comment. Just let me know. And give me a follow on social media, will you please? At Matt O'Leary NY on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. For more content, please subscribe, and we will talk to you next time.